In today's world, there's a constant push to redefine masculinity. But what does it really mean to be a man? We're bombarded with conflicting ideas. Be an alpha, be a provider, show no emotion. But the question still remains, what does it actually take to be a masculine man? The truth is, many of the popular narratives about masculinity are distorted and shallow. It's not about flexing muscles or making money. It's about something deeper, something society often neglects. So let me ask you this: if you're doing everything society tells you about being a man, having the job, the car, the status, why do so many men still feel empty? Are you really masculine if you're just following someone else's script? The idea of a man's man is often reduced to physical strength, status, or the alpha male mentality. But what if that's completely missing the point? Modern society has twisted masculinity into this shallow, competitive race where everything is about having more than the next guy, more money, more power, more women. But this is a fragile foundation for masculinity. You can have all those things and still feel hollow inside, because the real strength isn't built on the external, but on the internal. Men who focus only on external successes end up emotionally weak, constantly chasing validation. Real masculinity is about strength of character, resilience in the face of adversity, and an inner core that can't be shaken by trends or people's opinions. Here are the top 7 things every true masculine man possesses. Number 1. Discipline. To become a masculine man, you need discipline. And I'm not talking about the kind of discipline that lets you look good at the gym or get rich. I'm talking about the kind of discipline that lets you control your impulses and focus on what really matters. Discipline is the backbone of masculinity. It's the ability to stay the course, day in and day out, even when things get tough. Society doesn't teach men this anymore. It's all about instant gratification, whether it's through entertainment, food, or fleeting pleasures. But the real masculine man has to build the habit of long-term thinking. It's about showing up every day, making sacrifices now for something bigger down the line. So let me ask you, are you disciplined enough to put in the work even when there's no one around to see it? That's the real measure of a man. Second, physical strength. We need to talk about physical strength because society doesn't want you to be strong anymore. We live in a time where comfort and convenience are king. But here's the problem. Physical strength is essential. It's not just about lifting weights or having abs. It's about having the resilience to face the physical challenges life throws at you. A strong body equals a strong mind. It's about endurance, power, and not letting the world break you down. Too many men ignore this, choosing to eat their potato chips while playing games like Fortnite. None of these men could lead anyone in the face of danger. In the event of a natural disaster or crime, these men would be useless. And they know it deep down. Think about this. If you're out of shape, slow and tired after just a few minutes of activity, how could you possibly keep up in a situation where strength and stamina matter? How will you defend your family? How will you handle the unexpected? A truly masculine man needs to have the strength to take action when others can't. And it's not just about the ability to fight. It's about endurance. It's about being able to carry the weight of responsibility, of keeping going when everyone else is ready to quit. 3. Emotional control. Here's the part that's going to rub a lot of men the wrong way. Emotional control. Society has this idea that men need to bottle everything up, be stoic, and never show any vulnerability. It's this outdated idea that we have to suppress our feelings, keep everything inside, and pretend that we don't feel the weight of the world. But here's the hard truth that no one wants to admit. This approach is toxic. Real masculinity isn't about locking away your emotions like they don't exist. It's about knowing how to control them. But the inverse is also true. A man who lets his emotions dictate his actions is not strong. He's weak. The guy who blows up at the smallest inconvenience, who lets criticism or challenges send him into a rage or a spiral. That's not emotional strength. That's fragility. True strength comes from having the ability to control your emotions, to understand them, and use them to your advantage rather than letting them control you. It's about recognizing when to speak your mind and when to stay silent, when to stand your ground, and when to let things go. The way to overcome this is to be a duck. Now you might be wondering, what does that even mean? Well, if you take a look at a duck, you'll notice something interesting. Its feathers are coated with oil, and they're arranged in such a way that even when it's underwater, its skin stays completely dry. Now think about applying that same mindset to your life. When people get angry with you, when they yell or curse at you, or when life doesn't go your way, let it all roll off your back, just like water off a duck's feathers. It's not about ignoring the problem or pretending like it doesn't bother you. It's about keeping your emotional integrity intact, no matter how much chaos is happening around you. When you be a duck, you don't let the negativity, the criticism, or the stress of the world sink into your skin and weigh you down. Instead, you remain unshaken and unaffected, allowing life's challenges to slide right off. This is the true power of emotional control, knowing when to stay calm and composed, and not letting the world drag you down into its chaos. It's about holding your ground no matter how turbulent things get around you. 4. Leadership. Leadership is key, but I'm not talking about the boss mentality that so many men aim for, thinking that just holding authority makes them a leader. Leadership starts from within. A real leader knows that before they can guide others, they first have to master the art of self-leadership. A man who can't lead himself, who can't control his own habits, decisions, and actions, will never be able to inspire or lead others. Leadership isn't about throwing your weight around or barking orders. It's about taking responsibility, being accountable, and making decisions when no one else has the courage to do so. If you can't make the hard calls in your own life, how can you expect others to trust you to make them for them? It's easy to tell someone else what to do, but leading by example is what truly separates the men from the boys. True leadership is shown through self-discipline, consistency, and the ability to handle challenges with grace. A man who leads himself well takes ownership of his health, his work, his finances, and his relationships. He doesn't blame others for his problems or wait for opportunities to come to him. He creates them. If you can't lead yourself, you're not fit to lead anyone else. You need to be the one who shows up, even when it's tough, even when the odds are stacked against you. 5. Integrity. Integrity. This is one of the core pillars of masculinity. And let's be honest for a second. In today's world, it's easier than ever to cut corners. So many men will bend the truth, lie, cheat, or do whatever they can to get ahead. They see it as a shortcut or a way to win. But here's the reality. That's not real masculinity. Real men don't play games with their values. Integrity means doing what's right, even when no one is looking, even when there is no immediate reward or recognition. It's about sticking to your principles, whether it's in business, relationships, or your own personal life, and not compromising them just to make life a little easier. A man without integrity is a man who lacks true respect. Respect from others, sure, but more importantly, respect for himself. If you can't be trusted to do what's right when the world isn't watching, how can you expect anyone to trust you when it matters the most? Trust is everything. In relationships, in business, in leadership, integrity is the foundation of that trust. People don't follow men they can't trust. They don't work with men who can't keep their word. They certainly don't look up to men who lie to get ahead. Integrity isn't just a virtue. It's a necessity if you want to be respected as a man. 6. Self-sufficiency. Let's face it, no person is going to do it for you. Society today loves to talk about community, collaboration, and working together. And while all of that has its place, the truth is that no one is coming to save you. The world doesn't owe you anything, and the sooner you realize that, the better off you'll be. A man who constantly seeks validation, depends on others for his happiness, or waits for success to fall into his lap, is not truly a man. He's weak. And here is the hard truth. Relying on others, whether it's for emotional support, financial stability, or validation, is a recipe for disaster. Real masculinity is rooted in self-sufficiency. It's about standing on your own 2 feet, taking full responsibility for your own life. It's not about waiting for opportunities to find you. It's about creating your own opportunities. A masculine man doesn't sit around waiting for the perfect moment to act. He makes things happen. Whether it's in business, personal goals, or relationships, he takes the reins of his life and steers it in the direction he wants to go. He doesn't make excuses or point fingers when things go wrong. Instead, he works, sacrifices, and puts in the effort necessary to achieve what he wants, even if that means enduring hardship along the way. 7. Faith. Now let's talk about faith. Real masculinity requires something greater than yourself. Society often pushes men to become self-reliant to the point of arrogance, believing they don't need anyone or anything. But here's the truth. True strength doesn't come from relying only on your own abilities. If you're solely dependent on your own willpower, it's easy to become prideful and lost when life gets tough. Masculinity requires faith in something bigger than your own ego. Faith isn't about being religious or following a specific doctrine. It's about having a relationship with the Lord, an anchor that keeps you grounded when everything around you is chaotic. Without this foundation, you're bound to drift. You can have all the strength, emotional control, and success in the world, but without faith, you'll constantly struggle with a sense of emptiness. Faith gives you purpose and clarity. Having a relationship with the Lord isn't about relying on someone else to fight your battles. It's about knowing that you're not in control of everything. It's knowing that God has a plan for you. And even when life throws you into the fire, He's there with you, giving you the strength to endure. When everything else fails, this faith keeps you going, because you know you are a part of something much bigger than yourself. In conclusion, true masculinity isn't about following society's shallow scripts. It's not about flexing your muscles, showing off your wealth or chasing after empty validation. Real masculinity is about character. It's about having discipline, physical strength, emotional control, leadership, integrity, self-sufficiency, and faith. These aren't just traits to develop. They are the foundation of a life that will withstand whatever challenges come your way. At the end of the day, we all have our own path and our own struggles, but the strength to face them comes from within, grounded in who we truly are. True masculinity isn't a competition with others. It's about becoming the best version of yourself and being there for those who need you most. If you're ready to stop following the hollow definition of masculinity and start building the real thing, hit that subscribe button and join me on this journey to becoming the man you were meant to be. Drop a comment below and let me know what you're doing to work on your masculinity. Let's grow together into the men we were meant to be.